Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you all today. So I have to give you a little bit of context because I'm not from the US or Canada, so north of the globe, let's say it. My name is Leticia. I'm the CEO of a company called Odd Studio. We are a studio for designing. Am I talking close enough? Yeah. Designing data products. So this data visualization is a big part of our work. As you can see here, we've done many different types of data visualization, but we also do algorithms, we also do indexes, and we dab a little bit into data science and crazy things sometimes as well. One of the things that I think it's important for me to explain to you, we have been working with our team in Latin America, from Latin America, but globally, as you can see here. And we're part of a bigger initiative called Data Science Grand Challenges, which is from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in partnership with Ministry of Health everywhere, including Ministry of the Health in Brazil. So we will help select and support researchers that are communicating their results. So IMAPI, and why is this important and why does this happen? Actually, because I don't know if you know this, but Brazil is huge. And with huge countries, we call it continental challenges. We have continental also wonders. And due to a program that started in 2002 that we collected data on people, we actually have a lot of different data sets. These are huge data sets, very, very granular information that you can connect in different ways, from the ID of the baby to the mother, to the health facility, and to the municipality. So what we had to do, and our job since 2018, has been to foster the ecosystem in data science in Brazil and help it thrive, and not just in Brazil, but also support Africa and India. So IMAPI is part of one of these projects. You can see down there, it's actually just one of the projects that we have supported. And it's a project on early childhood development. So you can this is open, I can send it to you later and you can take a look. I'm gonna get into IMAPI. So IMAPI is a collaboration between great researchers from Brazil and also Café, which did the entire web development website. Café, if you don't know them, they are an amazing studio, also data visualization studio and design information studio from Brazil. Check them out. Shout out to Café. I love you guys. And what we have done, so to explain this, it stands for Early Childhood Friendly Municipal Index. It actually combines more than 100 variables into 5 different domains to understand if a municipality in Brazil is adequate in environment for the development of a child up until 5 years old, because we know the 1,000 first days of a child are the most important ones. So you can see here that it collects information on good health, adequate nutrition, responsive care, opportunity for early learning, safety, and security. So basically, what you can do if you explore on it is you can actually understand, for example, the city is called Porto Alegre, is the city I used to live in before moving to Barcelona. And you can actually understand where that global index, which is the number 52 here, which is actually high for Brazil, is performing well, or where they need to improve. So this is a very important tool for policymakers and decision making. So I'm going to talk about 4 things that we have learned throughout the project. You can explore it later, and a little bit about the process. So first, I would say that we have learned from the beginning that you should always show and not necessarily just tell. Just like Francis was showing us how much they do drawings, we do the same. We understand that people are very, very experts in their own reality, and they are better at criticizing than building. So what we do is we open up the kitchen, especially when we're working with researchers that have been studying a specific topic for their entire life. It's really hard for them to put themselves in a vulnerable position of looking at something as data viz as they don't understand. So what we do is more than collaborate, we actually invite them into the process and we build it with them. So you can see here that we did a lot of sketches before reaching the final flower. It's based on the Brazilian coffee flower, which is one of the things that thrives really well in Brazil. Although it comes from Africa, it does really well in Brazil as well. And it's not really looked the way it should maybe. So here you can see that we've tested many things. And what we do is we show the good, we show the bad. And specifically when you're talking about algorithms, showing what doesn't work sometimes is more important than showing what works, because then they can rely on the decisions that you're making. The same goes for color decisions, we have tested so many different colors, and they understood why we were choosing them, and even how to show all of the 100 information that we had for each of the 5,570 municipalities we have in Brazil. So these were all of the tests that we did, and eventually we came up with this final visual system here, which compares all of them in the same way. So you're always going to be comparing in different levels the granularity of the information, but you have one system for the global index, you have another one for the pillars, and another one for the detailed variables. Second is, so as I said, people are very experts of their own reality. And the moment we understand that and don't undermine our clients and bring them in, it's better for us to start collaborating in projects. Secondly, a principle that we have worked with for a long time is keeping things fresh and familiar. And what do I mean by that is sometimes you need to understand that your client is always going to either ask for a dashboard or a table, and they wanted to show 57,000 variables in a table. And then secondly, they wanted to show develop a 5,700 page report. So actually convincing them to show things in a flower, and then secondly, in an interactive website that you were able to compare information was a big step, was a big leap for them. So keeping things that are familiar to people, but at the same time, you become a little bit more novel, even though sometimes that for you is not novel enough because you want to do some creative things, is enough for your client. So understanding how far they have come can also be a measurement of success for your work. It has definitely been the case for us. Thirdly, we talk a lot about user understanding and interviewing and understanding our user, but honestly, what about the community that surrounds them? So I think that one of the things that developing a data visualization is not just a data product is not just a data visualization. It goes also understanding that the more complex your analytical solution is, the more simple your interface has to be for them to understand it. So they were trying to develop the index with an algorithm, and then with using machine learning methods. And Francisco, who is our associate partner here, was like, guys, people already do not understand what an index is, and you want to jump to algorithms. So would policymakers trust this index if they didn't understand how it was built? Probably not. So this is where we actually had to step in and go beyond data visualization and data information and discuss these different complexities as well. You also have to discuss media. Is it going to be printed? Is it better for them to have it printed, or do they have to access it in places that maybe don't have Wi-Fi reception? So these are things that you have to consider as well. And a few things that were developed in the website, I think, that were very, very important that Café did super well is that they developed a ranking. Right in the beginning, it asks you, where is your city? And it shows you if you're better or worse compared to others. That's a great way to hook policymakers. I want to know why mine is not better than the other one. So I think giving into these specific things is also a way to do that. And when we're talking about user versus community, sometimes the decision-making person is not necessarily is the person that's going to look at the data or have the time to do so. So what we did was develop PowerPoint slides for people that would explain the index and explain the information for them. So a whole guide on how to disseminate the information, and of course, a cute video to go with it. It is a totally homemade video on Keynote. So shout out to Francis with their PowerPoint skills. We also have a few that explains in 1 minute what the project is about. So a user does not function alone, and we have to consider their environment as well. And finally, last but not least, I know my time is over. I may not be talking to the people in this room sometimes when I say this, but we need to decolonize our design. We need to understand that sometimes you are your own reference, and that's okay. And you need to start somewhere to be able to create the references for the south of Brazil. So I am really, really the south of the world. I'm really, really happy to be here representing Latin America. And I think that the thing I mostly hear when people call me now is, have you ever heard of IMAPI? I would like to do something like that. So I think that when you become the reference, it's because you've done something right. You got it right. And that it's because you maybe what is out there today doesn't necessarily reflect you, but it's up to you to create and design your own reality. These are a few of the awards that it has already won. Maybe we can win another one tonight. I don't know. Let's add something to that list, right? Yeah. Thank you very much for listening. And I hope that you have enjoyed, and I hope we have more Brazilians and Latin Americans here in the next years to come.